Good afternoon, Spencer Duby here on 107.9 FM The Berg. This is the Midday Music and More Show Music Monday segment. Today in the studio, William Hawksworth. Now, he was just telling me he actually grew up here in Amherstburg, and this is great to see the station. He loves it. Used to hang out right next door where Maria's was, so this is kind of like a full circle moment for him. It's great to have him in the studio, and we're going to learn all about Chipping Away at the Stone, because this is a very special album. Chip Away at the Stone, a lot of details. If you got William on Facebook, you can read all about the inspiration. He kind of summarizes it up, what this album is for people, what they're going through, whatnot. We're going to get into depth detail about that. William, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me here.
No problem at all. Thank you for coming in. How long have you been a musician? Has this been something that you've done since you were a little kid, learning, or is this something you picked up in your teens?
Yeah, more teenage stuff.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, my father always played acoustic, and he'd always been playing songs around the campfire. Like, he's a big CCR fan, but you name it, or Rolling Stones. I just remember having to go to bed early, but he'd still be jamming with everybody by the fire, and I just remember falling asleep to that. So, I mean, I grew up listening to that, and I'm like, I always wanted to learn, but it took me till I was about 15 before I actually started to, because I always killed the hand, so I always quit like a weekend, right? So, but yeah, by 15, I started to actually play it, and then I started writing songs around 17.
Wow. Okay, so that's a pretty important time in your life to start writing songs. Pretty much graduating high school, that kind of coming of age era. You remember the songs that you were writing at that particular time in your life?
Oh yeah, when I look back at them, like, it's like looking back at anything, it's a bit embarrassing to see, because, you don't know any better. The songs weren't very strong, but yeah, it's hard to put into words, but I just do very impressionable at that age, like you said. It's like I was just trying to find my voice, and took me a long time to learn the good little key ways to make a song great, right? Like maybe I didn't know about bridges in the beginning. I was always verse, chorus, but over time, and I just figured out how to craft the songs a lot better by working with other people too. That was a big one. So anyway.
No, totally get it. And look where you are now. You got your solo album out, Chip Away at the Stone, which is awesome. You ever kind of sit back and look back how far you've come?
Well, I had to do that when I made this album. I took my time doing it because I didn't have any goal of mine other than creating something I was proud of. So it took me 3 years to record it. I went to SLR Studios, Martin Bach, his studio there. He oversaw the production, the direction and things with me. Him and I kind of worked together on creative vision, and worked with two of his engineers. I worked with him, and they were fantastic as well. Very good musicians. They were helpful. Like a lot of, like in one of the songs I have here, Faraway Hideaway, the solo was done by Sebastian, who was the guy engineering the song while we were tracking it. He just, I hear something. And then we started getting into it, and the synergy was very, very strong. So really enjoyed the process. I'm sorry, I'm kind of trailing off. I kind of lost where the question was.
No,
but
just...
Can you ask the question again?
Yeah, absolutely. Just, you ever look back how far you come, because now you got this album out?
Yeah, that's right. Because I also build websites. So I was building my website
That's right,
before
graphic.
I released the album. I was going through I have a page on my website called Timeline, and it's from all the projects I did. I summarize it. I give the public some clips to listen to. Even if they were embarrassing, I put them in there. You know what I mean? I had this old demo tape I did, and the songs were not very strong. They were my first couple of songs, but got a little clip on there. You could tell it was done on a really crappy 4-track. But we're looking back at all that and seeing, I could clearly see what influenced me, which I found really interesting, because
Yes. No, totally get that. And what I think is really interesting, and something that I like, reading the description for this album that you summarize pretty much. It's for the people that are going through whatever, the times alone. It's almost the way I look at it. It's almost like a redemption. That's the way you describe this album. It's kind of like a redemption for whoever listens to it, getting over whatever's going on in your life. Is this the vision that you kind of wanted?
It wasn't my vision when I started it. Basically how it worked was I had 18 songs that I collected. Most of them were recent, but I had some older songs that I found in the archives and brought them forward. And I just wanted to record. I just recorded them one at a time, not really thinking about how it comes together, because I'm like, I'll worry about that later. And then after, in retrospect, listening to them and kind of like I was kind of like trying to figure out how would they fall in order. And it was pretty cool the way it happened, because I could see that, like kind of like what you're saying. It starts off with a lot of anguish, a lot of like the very first song is A Face in the Crowd, and that one's talking about, here I am, a performer, but here I am saying like, I don't even want to be part of this crowd. You know what I mean? So it's almost like I'm torn between myself right from the get-go. And then I realized that I also had a spiritual awakening personally. And a lot of those songs at the end of the album show up. So you can hear like the redemption, like you said. That's a great way to, I put the story together with some help of friends too. And I actually did a couple things with ChatGPT just to see, you know what I mean? Just to see what it would say. And it kind of helped me visualize how I can order the songs. And that helped me describe the album in the end. So it was a bit of a process, but
I think you're the first musician that we've had in here that wrote pretty much a whole story about their album. That's what this sounds like to me, is like not the right way to describe it, but the only one I can think of, like a rock opera or something. It's a story. It's a story, this album, what you're telling, whether it's you or someone that you created, the character, but this is a story.
Well, they're personal songs. So every single one of them is about something I struggled with. So maybe that's why the thread connects easily. I've been in past projects before. One heavy symphonic metal band. We call ourselves King Misfit. And we did our thing around between 2009 and 2012. And so I had to sing heavier, and but I was just the singer. I put an instrument down. So I had to. The music was so edgy, and the guys I was working with were so talented that's when I was able to create a character, and then. But it was always a little bit of me in that, you know what I mean? So, but that was the first time it was always like, it was folk singer, songwriter, autobiographical. It was always about me. But that really taught me a lot about songwriting and dynamics and performing too, working with a band like that. But I'm glad to be back to my roots, because I feel like I'm more proud of this than I was of that, even though musically I think that's one of the best things I ever was a part of, that old project.
So that kind of helped shape you.
I'm more proud of this one though.
That kind of helped shape you. You learned some things along the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now you're taking it back into your solo career.
Yeah, at age 47.
still very young. I love it. Well, we're gonna play the first song now, Under a Blue Light. Amherstburg, hope you really enjoy this, and I hope you check out William's work. You're on Spotify, Apple Music. You got a website as well.
Yep. So official website, WilliamHawksworth.com. I'm on all the streamables. All the main ones that I push are also linked off the website.
Perfect. So here is Under a Blue Light, William Hawksworth on 107.9 FM. That was William Hawksworth, Under a Blue Light. It sounded like a song you'd hear on 89X, 101.1, WRIF even, the old 93.9, The River back in the day. Like what a great voice you got. It Thanks, sounds man. Very like you could jump into that progressive metal, whatever. Like
at the end, the guitar really screeches. That's Jim O'Neill on the lead guitar. Like I've worked with him over the years, and he also did a bunch of these harmonies during the verse, like those background guitars they almost sound like a musical box or something. Yeah, like I have him in that song and in a couple others on the album, and he was a very talented guy. I love working with Jim. So.
I love it. Like you got a great voice. I can see why you were in like a metal band.
Yeah, this song is this definitely shows my metal background. This song for sure it does.
I love it. We were chatting off air just now during the break. More about how this album's pretty much a story, and I don't get to see that very often. You're, like I said, you're the first person that has come in here basically telling a story, creating either a character or you're looking at yourself as the character. It's you, but you're writing a story basically about your journey, and I think that's great. I love when albums do that. I think of like Pink Floyd, The Wall. I love it.
I'm a huge fan of that too.
It's rare that you get to see someone create something like that here. So it's a thrill to be able to talk about this.
It's really nice to hear that from somebody too. Like with just hearing you say that, it's like I know in my heart that that's what I was going for, but now that I'm seeing that it's actually communicating well, that's I'm thrilled about that. That's a big deal to me. So
something I gotta ask.
Yeah,
you working on anything new? Because I know I'm excited. I'm dying for it. Are you currently working on any new projects, new albums, singles, EPs?
Not at the moment. The focus was to get this released, and I haven't even done a show for it yet. So I'm thinking about that because for me, it's like it's easy for me to go by myself acoustic, but it's not the same thing, right? I think that it'd be worth getting the guys that helped me record this album to join me on stage and do a post-release show, maybe later in the year. That would probably be the next step. But as far as I've got lots of songs still. I'm still writing. Actually, so I wrote a couple just the other day, and it's been a dry spell for a while because my focus, I didn't really need to write anything. I was focusing more on the recording end. But
you do have some stuff stored away though.
Yeah. Actually, well, I had 18 songs before I started this album, so there's a bundle that didn't make the cut, which maybe they won't make the cut for the next project, but there's probably one or two in there that are coming up. But yeah.
No, that's completely understandable because this got released on June 2nd, correct?
Yeah.
So it's still fresh and totally get you want to take a little time instead of starting a new project, whatever the case may be, right?
And I really don't know what that is yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it's exciting. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whatever it is. So, yeah.
But the show aspect too, we're looking forward to that. You were saying thinking maybe about a release party at a release show at some point. Hopefully really soon. Love to see you perform. I'm sure all of Amherstburg would as well. Have you been doing any shows leading up to this album, or were you just strictly focused on this album?
I was purposely not performing. I was taking a break from all of that and just wanted to keep the focus on for my family first of all. And but this one, it's like I knew I couldn't rush it. And I wanted to just stay in each song as I was recording them. So I would demo them at home. I got like a little Pro Tools rig all set up, just good enough for demoing.
So you're pretty much a producer as well.
Well, I can't do what Martin Bach and these guys at SLR can do, but I get a clean demo. You know what I mean? But yeah, in working with when I first started the album, the first 3 songs I worked on was with the guy named Justin Doe. And a very talented guy. He was helping me if I got stuck on parts. He'd make some, he even had some backup ideas on one of the songs that we were working on. And then I started working with Sebastian on the last 7. So, and Marty, the main studio owner, like he was the one that mixed and shaped the song, crafted them afterwards. But it was interesting because it's almost like I had little mini teams, you know what I mean? And Sebastian was very different from Justin. And what I love about it when I'm listening to the songs, I can hear the difference, but they complement each other. You know what I mean? So I was really happy with it. So
that's the most important thing. You're happy with the way that the album turned out.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's the most important thing. Reception's been great so far, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's been quite, it hasn't been crazy or anything like that. And I didn't expect it to be. I mean, I'm not really well known or anything. I'm just a local guy here. So, but I'm hoping that music's good enough that I continue to get people streaming and wanting to listen to it. And
I'm sure the streams are going to go up. I'm sure that they are. It's great. I love the way that you explain the album, the way you worded it, whatnot. So that to me is something that, at least for me, interests me. Like, okay, so this album is a story, probably about if it's not William, then it's someone he created. Maybe it's someone he knows. Turns out it's obviously you.
But what I like about that is, like, I've always looked at it this way. I'm a big Radiohead fan. Tom York said one time.
He's a great composer too.
Well, yeah. I remember him saying, it's like, once you release it, it's not yours anymore. So, you know what I mean? So it could be yours until you release it. That's fine. But because that's the whole thing, is if people can identify it in their own way, you've done your job. You know what I mean?
That's the most important thing. The way, however people can latch onto it, whatever they feel, whatever they're picturing is going on. And I love that. That's very complex. That's the sign of a good artist. So I'm really looking forward to what else you put out, whenever that is. And I'm looking forward to shows. So WilliamHawksworth.com.
Yep.
That's you post, I'm assuming, when shows will be as well on the website. Like, everything can be found on your website.
Yeah. Once shows start coming in, there'll be an events page built at that point.
Perfect. Well, William, this has been awesome to be able to get to pick your brain a little bit about this. Wherever music is available, chip away at the stone. Check it out. Brand new solo album. It sounds very, very complex. We're going to close out this interview with another William Hawksworth song from that album, Far Away, Hideaway. You're really excited about this song. Could you touch base on what this song's about for all of us?
Yeah, this is a hitting rock bottom song, right? And I use an imagery of someone on a train, like in a kind of like some shit went down, so he has to rest his case. And I use cheesy little analogy there, but it works. And and it's there's more to it with this song, actually. I don't normally tell this story about it, but what inspired the song was a friend of mine went MIA. And I got a phone call from his girlfriend. Nobody knew where he was. And so I wrote the song that day based on that influence. But this is also a story about, because I pretty much went through this, like the couple years before. Like I was at my wit's end. I was at the lowest of the low, and I couldn't get out of the mess. It was almost even my relationship with my wife wasn't as strong as it could be. Like I wasn't well. So it's like, I had the influence of my friend for the story, but it's also about me.
This is a very deep personal song.
Yeah, wow. It's a sad song for sure.
Well, this album's all about redemption, chip away at the stone. So obviously we're going to get to listen to a great musically song, the way it's structured, the way it's written. I'm really looking forward to this. Great way to obviously end the show when it's something like this. It makes people want more. That's all I can say. I'm just really looking forward to hearing this. Far Away, Hideaway. Very, very personal song. I love it. William, thank you so much for coming in, getting to talk all about Chip Away at the Stone, and just meeting you. You seem like a great guy. So this has been awesome to have you on.
Well, I really enjoyed this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. William Hawksworth, everybody. www.williamhawksworth.com. Everything is on there. Check it periodically for when he starts playing shows again. The music. He's also available on Apple, Spotify. Just got to check him out. www.williamhawksworth.com.